Hong Kong, in reality, a dense pocket of vertical architecture and economic freedom on the shore of the South China Sea. In fiction, a corrupt wonderland riddled with violent criminals and dangerous gangsters. On one side, freedom, on the other, violence. In steps Sleeping Dogs, a game about both, matching the free roaming of an open-world game with the thrill-seeking of cinematic action. Can it unite the two? Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, Chow Yun-fat, and now Wei Shen. Hong Kong had its fair share of heroes, and Sleeping Dogs' newcomer fits in perfectly. Agile, silver-tongued, and a consummate man of action, the game story is as much about him as it is about the lurid underworld he navigates. That's because Wei isn't your usual rent-a-thug. Oh no, he's an undercover cop. It's a plot that gives Sleeping Dogs an edge over the competition. It's clear that developers United Front have studied internal affairs and its remake The Departed, and at its best, Sleeping Dogs manages to match their tense atmosphere, especially in its excellent cutscenes. Sadly, the story falters towards its end, leaving loose ends everywhere, as it John Woos its way to a bombastic finale, but in its earlier sections, split loyalties and brewing suspicion, Sleeping Dogs still crafts a unique take on cops and robbers.
It's all right, Wei. We can trust her.
Trust her? I just met her.
This dual structure of police work and criminal enterprises also extends to Sleeping Dogs' gameplay. Story missions will see you trying to gain respect from the triads by doing their dirty work for them, which usually involves hitting hard, driving fast, and chasing rivals down. There's some good variety, including a set of bizarre wedding preparations, but Sleeping Dogs gets more interesting when it comes to its undercover cases. These are optional side missions that see you building cases against key triads through diligent police work, gadgets, and simple stealth. Involving planting bugs, trailing suspects, and gathering evidence with your mobile phone camera, these missions may be basic, but at least they make you feel more like an actual undercover policeman. Planting a bug in your gang boss's restaurant after narrowly escaping being discovered is a particular kind of thrill.
I know you have a personal stake here, but this cannot be a vendetta.
Rather than load you up with guns, Sleeping Dogs is all about kung fu, with a good, if clunky, fight system. Playing out like a less fluid version of Batman Arkham City's free-flow brawling, Wei can strike out in any direction, counter, and grapple. The first two work as you would expect, while the third opens up the game's signature environmental kills. In an attempt to ape martial arts cinema, Wei can dispatch his enemies with all kinds of objects, from throwing them into dumpsters to smashing them against floor-to-ceiling fish tanks. It's a bit of gory fun, but like the combat system itself, there's something disjointed about the way it plays. This clumsiness extends to the little gunplay there is, with slow-mo vaulting hamstringed by a dodgy cover system. The final part of Sleeping Dogs is, of course, its open world. It has its fair share of technical problems, its draw distance and muddy vistas in particular, but in its crooked alleys, neon glow and rainy nights, Sleeping Dogs is a sight to behold. It's also a world suitably packed with distractions, all tied together with a clever leveling system. Sleeping Dogs loves levels. There's your cop level, your triad level, your melee level, and your face level, as well as the game's medal-based stat tracking. It's almost too much, but this constant feed of updates, move unlocks, and awards encourages distraction and staves off boredom, with the next reward often just around the corner. This extra content is very welcome in a game that suffers from what feels like a stunted story. Despite this, Sleeping Dogs feels like a generous game. Sometimes it wants the player to be a tourist, taking in the sights and being carefully nudged into the next well-organized activity.
Kind of, nice playing tourist in your own town.
At other times, it wants them to be an action hero, kicking, driving, and shooting their way out of trouble. This may sometimes feel like incoherence, but somehow Sleeping Dogs, like Hong Kong itself, turns this breathless variety into its greatest strength.